let's go for that and remove those maps until we're left with only one 7-map pool. People talk about, let's have a 5-map pool. Let's have a 9-map pool. Let's talk about that later. Border is going to be played here as G2 had the last ban. They're going to ban out Consulate. Understandable, as Shaiko in the past and against other teams has kind of, slapped people around on this map very, very, distinctly. And I'm going to be heading to Border with BDS starting off on the attack. That said, what do people think about this matchup? Our votes are in. G2 versus BDS. Did you cast yours? Make sure to always vote, politically or not. 70% for G2, 24% for BDS, and a 6% draw ratio. G2 with a huge advantage here.
No surprise there. BDS has only picked up 3 points out of a possible 15. G2 is at a much better split. And the way they matched up, it was a 7-5 against BDS previously on Bank. Obviously, Bank isn't in the map pool, so you're going to have to see what these teams are capable of doing on Border. But this is going to be a strong map for G2. I just have a feeling that they're going to play very aggressively and very well. We'll fire up our third match of the day, and we'll see which team will just simply be better here on Border.
First ban for G2, and it's a Thatcher. Unsurprising. Thatcher has been as a fire and forget operator with those EMPs, been an operator that instantly gets removed from play. No talk about AR-33 angle grip for this time. And second ban, is it a Maverick? No, it's a Nomad. All right. Makes sense, right? It's BDS. They like to roam around. It's something of an enabler for Shaiko when you ban the Nomad. Makes a lot of sense in this case. First ban on the defense will go for BDS. And holy taken out. Is it a Mira? Or is it an Echo? An Echo? A Qaid. Ooh. Not something you usually see, but understandable. I guess there's some information on G2 regarding this, and G2 are a team that can go out of the norm for bans. They're going to go for the Valkyrie. Also something that makes quite a bit of sense on Border. Information gathering is great for her on this, and of course she was one of the 2 operators released alongside this map in the second ever DLC pack for this game. So still rolling strong even though she's out. You're still going to have to deal with an Echo, so an IQ is a big potential for the attackers.
I like that we aren't seeing Maestro, Mira, and Echo banned every single time, and I wonder if we're going to continue to see movement from the defense here as their bans begin to adapt. There's usually most bans on attack, you see a Hard Preacher go down. Other than a Hard Preacher, you're going to see a Capitao or a Thatcher. Those tend to be the 5 most commonly banned attackers. You can every now and then, you might see something a little bit less orthodox. You might see a Buck ban, you might see a Nomad ban, but outside of that, there isn't too much. Because you're not going to ban like Zofia, you're going to hinder both teams too much. You're not going to ban an IQ for the same reason. They bring a lot of utility. They're not particularly that strong in comparison or that pivotal, but you know how miserable it can be to attack without an IQ or without a Zofia. Here in this case, though, G2 will be starting on defense with the Mira obviously in play. I wonder if this was something that they expected or not. They're very quick to set up above, and they will not go to one of the 2 most commonly played sites on this map. They will start on a bomb site that has seen a massive uptick in play as of late. That's Bathroom Tellers.
Again, we've seen French teams being the first teams to play this site, but G2 are going to go out of the usual norm. They're going to bring the castle, which is a huge operator for this site. You just castle up a bunch of those windows or doorways, whatever you'd like. Of course, giving him the secondary super shorty is a huge buff for the operator in competitive play. It makes him very flexible as an operator. So everything going well. Pengu opening up those angles, Uno running the Mira. This is an old school style of play where since the Mira is allowed, then you're going to see her creating a ton of lines of sight and a lot of information that you can easily gather as G2. But okay. Well, I guess she didn't see this one coming, Parker. That's the Mira shut down. Sad, I have to say.
Yeah, that's a rough start to find. But hey, I mean, BDS are just making such quick work of this. They lose the fight to the Jaeger of Citizen, but they still picked up another kill in the interim as Pengu falls now, and BDS are just methodically slicing through this defense. You can hear an absolute cacophony of gunfire from above as they've shredded in through break room. This is really tough for G2 to find themselves in so quickly on.
Habana trying to pressure in from the balcony. As the last 3 players from G2 are hunkering down. They know there's one more player behind the reinforcement. The gunfight. Oh, Shaiko, how does he win it? Kanto Raketti missing all these shots. Lems will find one more in Citizen, and Nitro will sail out from the Bandit, but Virtue is the only man versus 4. So much to do, so much to see. And you can just go for the plant. You don't even need to worry about him. Just shut down his rotations. It's those hatches and nothing more. Castle Barricade will prevent him from going for a long rotation. Can't even open the hatch. Is this one even open? No, it is not. You don't have anything to do here. Virtue literally locked out of the site. And Alem's is gonna fire off the final couple bullets to end this misery of a round for G2.
That was so quick from BDS. They just absolutely took that apart after they got Uno. They just continued to pressure in as best as they could. And I feel like I say this phrase every single time. Bathroom Tellers is a site where once you lose it really, really quickly. That's it. That's how it works. And BDS knew how to pick apart that G2 setup. They took break room off as most of G2 would hold themselves up directly above the site, watching inside of offices. They took break room, they took CCTV and monitors, they then took main lobby. They had everybody in G2 effectively where they wanted them, which was just simply deep and protected above the bomb site, and then you could take them out one by one. And BDS, when their guns work, they are a very scary team. So scary, in fact, that G2 are not going to opt to go for another experiment over on Bathroom Tellers. They'll instead go to Armory. And what a surprise. This is the bomb site that a lot of teams should be starting on, a lot of teams like to start on, because it tends to be far better to defend. The question then becomes, where is BDS going to take from? G2 is doing a standard setup by reinforcing the Armory walls. It looks like they might have a rotate into monitors. It certainly seems that way with the way that Uno was just setting up now over by Fountain. This will stop BDS's effectiveness when they take control of monitors/security. If BDS is even able to take control of it, it's not a given for all these teams. Regardless, it's going to give G2 this beachhead that they need. But like I said, very standard. Hold the Armory wall, maybe keep somebody inside of Fountain, which is going to be where that mirror is positioned, and you've got everything working for you. Then the attackers will either have to take Armory wall or the back of Archives through offices, but usually first you'll want to do some damage into security, and that's exactly where Shaiko is going to be. He will very soon realize that there's a mirror window there, and it might just chase him off.
And this is the only way to really deal with him. You know that Shaiko's always the guy that's kind of going to peek you, he's going to fight you, he's going to want to take that 1v1 against you. And when you put that mirror window in front of him, he can't really just, shoot into you and find that kill. It slows him down and gives you the opportunity to pounce on him if you time yourself correctly. That's the reasoning behind these reinforcements that are positioned so strategically by G2. Shaiko setting up here is he's watching for potential rotations through the mini desk here inside of Armory, and there's going to be one ping coming out into Sandwich, knowing that there's one player behind it. Pengu playing the mute in that case. Alems is watching him, can push him out, but the biggest and most important thing for the attackers is that sandwich window. If BDS can ferry someone to that window before their push, they can have this all on lockdown. Kanto's going to find the first one on Alems. It's a good start here for G2 to slow down BDS, but Shaiko on the refrag will shut down Kanto.
I don't know. Who do you take there with Alems and how strong he was on the Capitao versus Kanto Raketti? I mean, I might want to actually give that nod to G2 in that engagement. Yep. just with taking the Capitao out, as you can see how pivotal a Capitao can be. But that's
oh no! RX! Ironics! Why? Uno's gonna find one Rafale. Oh no!
That is not great.
Can we get some F's in chat for that one? That's just, it happens to everyone, even the pros. But that sandwich take is what was important, and there's nobody on that rappel just yet. You can go on top of vents, play from there, pressure the window, but you're losing time right now. You're pressured for it, and the players from G2 are still alive. They still have a one-man advantage against you, and you're the one that has to rush through the fire and flames for this gunfight. Ironics close to taking damage there. There's one Ash Shards being used into the back as Sandwich going to be contested. Nitro from below will hit from Uno. Renshiro gets one. Pengu with another on the Ironics, and Renshiro is last alive. Close angle held by Pengu there on the mute, and SMG11 will rattle off Parker. Oh my god, you feel that? You feel that? That was so painful.
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? No, I mean, I do feel it.
Ontario, my boy.
That was a calamity of errors from BDS, and they try to take as swift and as quick of a pace as they did in that very first round, and they stumbled on it this time. I don't know if it was because of the setup of G2 trying to deal with a mirror window. I don't know if it was just simply a couple small mistakes as to where you took first, and then of course having Ironics fall and die is not ideal, especially when he's the buck. That is a crucial operator to have on this bomb site when you want to go underneath and start to buck away, or you want to take out the walls that are inside of security. There's so many places that a buck is absolutely instrumental, and you lose him on the rotate over to the top of Vent's balcony. That's rough. That's super rough. And honestly, I know you said it happens to the pros. It shouldn't, man. It really should not. That is not something that Ironics should have done. You've done that how many times? I mean, mistakes happen, but if you're going to be a top level player, you can't be doing those kinds of things. That's amateur hour. So it's very unfortunate because it also required Shaiko to go off to pick him up, which means that there's going to be a pause in whatever execute was happening, and it completely throws off the rhythm of the push. Additionally, one bullet now kills Ironics after that. That's it. That's all it takes. One thing as well to just try and keep our eyes on for the remainder of this matchup is that because Mira is so infrequently used in scrims and in matches, there are a lot of teams that don't practice with Mira. We've talked to a couple of them on interviews before where they say, yeah, we don't really play Mira because we expect her to be banned most of the time. Teams don't necessarily have executes that are designed around a Mira being in play as well, and that's something that could be hindering BDS through the remainder of the G2 defense. And if a Mira comes out from BDS, then we could see the same thing from G2. So teams might have a little bit more difficulty knowing that she's an operator that is so seldom played due to how often she's banned, that it could end up holding up the attackers.
I really agree with you, and G2 banned the Valkyrie on purpose. They didn't want to give that extra information for a player like Renshiro, who usually is the man that runs the Valk for his team at BDS, and did so in the past with Millennium and other teams. But here, the meta is being used very effectively. These are old strategies that we're seeing that have resurfaced, and it's, as Kix likes to put it, a cyclical metagame where the more things aren't playing, the more the chance is that playing them is going to surprise a lot of teams when they're actually brought out, and it's definitely the case here. There's double breach charges used to push Uno back. A long angle here being opened up to fight against him, but Checo's the one taking damage. He's gonna get the kill on Uno though somehow and remain alive, finding the second on his Citizen as he just peeks around at the wrong moment. The head just demolished by the Ash.
This is Shaiko doing Shaiko things, and now you've once again lost two of the players inside of the site. Shaiko's down, finish off. Virtue is able to get in on the fun as well. Immediately, an advantage that BDS had has evaporated, and back to a 3v3. Perfect timing given that there's still half of the round left, and it's very winnable for both of these teams. Nobody particularly having an advantage right now. The only thing for BDS that they will have to tussle with is the fact that they've lost their best player and they've lost their hard breacher, leaving lots of soft destruction. And now, though it is still a 3v3, it's technically a 2v2, as Ironics has been downed. This hold from BDS at the moment, as they wait very patiently, could actually end up working out quite well. Look at the HP of Pengu and Virtue. This actually might be an even greater advantage, as now down goes Virtue. Kanto Raketti is still at full HP. I don't know if BDS knows where the remaining members of G2 are.
Staying alive is the important bit here for G2, but yeah, as I say, there's a lot of damage being exchanged between the two, and if Kanto can survive, he can do a lot of work. But remember, this... Oh, the Nitro still being denied! The great shot there. I don't know if that was Ironics that just hit one of his pellets in, but this is actually huge. Kanto Raketti is now playing from that top floor, and he can shut down the rotations. You're definitely not expecting a player to be playing in this position. They don't know about him. There's a diffuser down on the floor, and both players are downstairs. Kanto Raketti can actually clutch this. Renshiro is down on the floor. He's gonna go for the finisher and waiting for the 0-0 before the push. Diffuser cannot be set. You're out of play. Lems makes the mistake as he's unsure where to plant. And G2 off of the play from Kanto Raketti. You thought you were safe, but you weren't. And he wrapped around at the right moment. The great game sense from Kanto Raketti wins the round.
Now, that from Alems, that positioning from Alems isn't a real deal breaker. I know people are going to meme and joke about it because Alems just tried to plant in a site that they weren't playing on. Alems tried to plant in the middle of Tellers when the bomb site was not there. And yeah, it's funny to watch, but that didn't cost BDS the round. And if you're one of those people that's going to, point fingers at Alems, there's no way he would have been able to get that diffuser, get into the bomb site, start to plant, and not get killed by Kanto Raketti. The moment that the Buck and the Zofia were dead, that round was over, even though it was a 1v1. Alems had zero chance of winning that round. And yeah, I mean, it is kind of remarkable that amidst the confusion and panic, Alems forgot where the bomb site was. But that's a critical error if you've got site control and there's 20 or 30 seconds left. That's not a critical error when there's 1 second left on the clock and there's no way you're going to be able to get into the site. So maybe just a little bit of understanding as to how Alems played that. But really, the bigger issue from BDS was that when they had that numbers advantage, they're in a 3v2. You don't keep somebody upstairs. You have no intel on where the remaining G2 members are. One of them is down below, one of them is up top. You have an advantage which can allow you to keep somebody above, watch the hatches, and if the Buck is going to go in to go for the plant, which you did, why you gave the Buck the diffuser as well when he had 20 HP is kind of a question mark for me. But anyway, I mean, you have to have somebody watching him, and nobody was watching him. The Zofia was a little bit too far off. Renshiro wasn't able to get in fast enough. The sledge was nowhere nearby either. He might have been at the top of East Stairs. That was a very frantic play from BDS, and they had a great start to it. Just as they're going to get a good start to this round, they get the opening pick on Virtue. But last round, they got 2 opening picks, and it all ended up being for naught. And this once again just goes to show you that when Shaiko goes down, the likelihood of this team winning a round, unless it's very late in the round, it just falls so drastically.
Ironics trying to pressure here from the break room. Definitely not a position that you see the Buck using that often, but still, it opens up these angles that you can use to pressure people in that open area. Downstairs, it keeps you safe from an East Stairs run out or rotation. A lot of pressure put on that top floor as Kanto Raketti will round off again and find Ironics. There's the Buck lost. No grenades that can be used. The Habana will open angles, but is it really going to be worth it? The meetup position is still very excellent here, and you're trying to win the gunfight. Shaiko doing a lot of damage, actually able to down Kanto Raketti, and he's going to be forced to use his charge to get the finisher. Kanto still alive. The kill not being grabbed there by the Ash is unfortunate. But the Mira is ready to capitalize whenever Shaiko dives in and maybe makes a mistake.
Kanto Raketti, no pickup possible, at least for now, unless somebody decides to give up their life, as it's an East Stairs play from BDS. That's the map control that they have. Nobody from G2 is going to dare try to get over as Shaiko watches it, and that's not a fight that you are going to try to win. Swing onto the Ash, sure, she has very limited HP, but I mean, you're going to have to be mighty quick as Shaiko knows exactly where you're coming from. But down goes the Lems, and another from Citizen. He must have caught them on a flank from above. Yes, he does. Likely over towards East Stairs. Shaiko for but a moment spots one. He takes out Kanto Raketti finally as he bleeds out. It's now Uno in a 1v2 as G2's Citizen has been downed. There goes Renshiro. Uno versus Shaiko. Better gun very much in the hands of Shaiko, but Uno has more HP. If Uno goes to drop, Shaiko will be there, ready and waiting. He goes for the plant. I don't know if this has been called. Uno trying to see him, can't do it. Shaiko's actually sticking it. He's just going to go for it, and the big hefty mirror will hit the ground. Tries to go for Citizen. He has no idea where Shaiko is. And so well played by the Frenchman. He'll get the final kill. And this site just not working out in favor of G2. 1-bit. Tie game.
Big plays there from Shaiko, that's for sure. He genuinely saved the round for BDS, something that we've said so many times in so many different games. Those picks from Citizen were so important. Kanto, early on playing the Wamai, found the right kill on the Buck, a long angle for him. But dealing with Shaiko is always the big question. You always call this, one-trick pony kind of thing, but man, that pony can just do so much. I mean, he's just jumping around like it's all free real estate for him. And Shaiko is uncontested a lot of times. Once you shut him down, we saw it in other games, BDS slow down and can't really be effective against you. But as long as he's alive, the round can still go BDS's way. It's a prime example there. It just dropped in, planted. I don't know if he had any drones to give him the rotation information or something, but you said the big clunky Mira has to move around, and you can hear her very clearly jumping off the railing down into open area, and hey, at the right angle at the right time. There's no way the Mira can run back and save Citizen.
So back up to arm raise has become available yet again. This is what marked the very first victory for G2 on defense, and it was played quite well. G2's made some changes here, though. The setup looking somewhat similar, but is a little bit less aggressive with the way that they're going to try and play off of CCTV / security / monitors, however you want to call it. The mirror window inside a fountain from Uno is going to be in the same position. In fact, it actually looks like both mirror windows are both in front and behind Uno. He's going to have double the vantage point to be able to play off of. And if he's got somebody playing inside a fountain like Kanto, well, things will go well. Extremely well played there by the Nitro cell that goes off and blows up Shaiko, absolutely punishing him. My goodness, goodbye to the fast track sprinter in Ash. Not where you want to be. Rafał looks like he might be able to get Uno as he's downed, but Uno could be salvaged. This would be a major play for BDS. They desperately need an opening pick to avenge their teammate.
They're trying to spray in to fight against your opponents, but what a long angle head by Kanto Raketti. Just the Echo finding the right position, and he swings wide again, finding Rafał. The shield is down, but there's nobody fighting back to try and take him out. Uno has been picked up. You're running right into G2. Mistakes are done all over. And as Shaiko dies, the round just falls apart for BDS. It's been found. It's the BDS's heel, Sia Kelly's heel there. And G2 are going to gather one round. That was a great and very important kill on the Ashe.
This has been a pretty fast day when you think about it. I mean, we're only 2 hours and 40 minutes in, and we could be halfway through matchup number 3. I mean, correct. It helps the clock that both of the first 2 matches were 7-2, and these rounds, even though we're through 5 rounds, have been very brisk. BDS are trying to break a record for how fast they can get into the site and start to get kills. And I mean, if you don't think that G2 is a team that is well coordinated, which I think even G2 has admitted, those more structured maps aren't exactly their forte right now, then why not take advantage of it by executing quickly and catching G2 off guard? The difference is that, or the thing is rather, that G2 aren't as poorly coordinated as you'd imagine. And G2 are very freely killing anybody from G2 on defense. Obviously, we'll see how things change. This is when they swap sides, which is what will happen at the end of this round. G2 on their very final defense, and they're going to go to Ventilation Workshop. This was saved by a good individual clutch from Kanto Raketti, but maybe wasn't as strategically sound as you would have hoped for. We'll see if they can replicate that same success this time, or if BDS will be a little better at taking control of that second floor and leaving somebody up there should they end up having an advantage in terms of man count.
So why played again by Kanto Raketti. No Mossy that we've seen so far. It really is G2 digging their heels in for the Mira pick. And, you know, so far it's working well. It's an ancient strategy. They've really dug it up from the ancient tomes. I really have to say, Sua better have, you know, a mask that he's wearing all the time with all the dust that he's kicking around, trying to find these old day strategies with Shas and Fresh, of course. But this Mira inside a fountain is something that used to be played, you know, back in right after the release of Mira, Velvet Shell and a bit beyond. And it's not until operator bans became a thing that we saw this slowly going away as Mira's Mira's, you know, ban rate went up, but Shaiko's death rate is definitely going up in this matchup. 2 now that he's been the first kill, the first death for his team. And there's an ADS. Of course there's an ADS. It's watching for you. You have to go for the gunfight. Ono takes a bit of damage, but he's still alive, holding on in Fountain. and just explosives everywhere here, just dismantling BDS. Renshiro, though, still finding the kill on Kanto, and Alems a second on Unomeister. It's a great entry here for BDS, finally to open a fountain, but with a lot of time left, G2 just need to huddle.
Regroup, find the utility from G2, and then push on in is essentially what you need out of BDS, is they have that advantage again, even though Shaiko had been taken out, so you'll need the depth from your fraggers on BDS. I mean, unfortunately for them, Ironix hasn't been able to do much. There's one kill for him. He's got the mirror window at play. The Echo of Virtue is not going to bother with it at all. He falls off, and now the bucking from above will be done. It certainly seems like we're going to have a 3-3 split here between these teams. Havoc being reaped from above by both this Buck and Sledge combo. Oh, what a shot from Virtue! He absolutely smokes Alems and removes him from the server. Now Citizen also has the Zofia. Looks for the second, a big play from Citizen. A double kill, leaving Ironix in a 1v2. How things go from good to bad to ugly for BDS so quickly. Diffuser might as well be miles away, as Ironix will have 40 seconds to try and find these remaining members of G2 in both Citizen and Virtue. He'll be making a lot of noise though, and he's spotted on a default cam. G2 just needs to peel off and sit on that diffuser. I don't know if there's a drone up or not. The Echo is just continuously backing away, not wanting to engage in a 1v1 with Virtue, or rather with Ironix. And for Virtue, that's a smart idea. But he decides to do the dipsy doodle, and he gets under the radar of Ironix, and one shot will be the undoing of the buck. Well played from G2, and around that, boy, it did not look like they were going to be able to hang on border. G2 on their half. They'll go up 4-2.
They somehow did it. Taking out Shaiko in the beginning seemed like it was going to be the end of an ugly round, but BDS really fought back. They got the kills that were necessary, and G2 in the clutch moments, they're keeping their calm. Shaiko, when he was in a clutch moment in 1v1 or 1v2 really against Mira and other ops, he still was able to win it. He heard everything, he got the right calls, and the game sense triumphed. But G2 have had this work for them so many rounds in a row. And BDS now are on the defense. What will they be bringing? Shaiko on the Jaeger, are you surprised? Not at all. Nomad being banned by BDS makes a lot of sense. They want to enable him. And that's the strategy. And usually that works out very well. And that's the reason why you're going to see Workshop Vents as the first set that's going to be played here. As Ironix has collected a singular kill with a couple assists for him in this game. It really is, Renshiro, Alems actually, and Shaiko, all three of them really putting up a ton of work for the squad. A lot of reinforcements being put up here in Archives, and potentially some more inside of Armory. Sometimes you'll see some extra reinforcements inside of Fountain, but the focus here will be on keeping control of Armory, just so you don't give G2 that extra top floor control. They have the Buck, there's Zofia, and there's an IQ. There's no Claymores. There's actually 2 Claymores on them, so there's no breach charges being used there extra for G2. They're going to rely on the Ash, the Buck, and the Zofia for the soft destruction without anything extra to spice it up.
Defender has been discovered.
I was going to say, who's going for the run out there? Oh, Shaiko went quite deep for the run out. Gave his position away, but I was wondering for a second, I was like, there's no alibi on the board. I was like, what is going on here? But if Kanto Raketti is not being droned in, BDS have a tight angle watching the doorway of Customs right now, and Kanto could be taken down. But it looks like he might get some drone work from the rest of his team. But one thing that really plays to the strengths of G2 is their fragging potential. BDS by no means is a bad team when it comes to that. It's just, I think that you're hard-pressed to argue that BDS has greater depth. A ping comes out, and you can see that the Pulse is playing by the back of Customs. Shaiko gets the opening kill, but immediately on the other side of the map, it's a refrag as Shaiko now heads into Customs 2. He'll gun down Virtue. Another beautiful play from Shaiko. 3 kills for him so far. And you get Kanto and Citizen as well. Frag grenade goes out, but the Jaeger will push up. He knows that the Buck is there. He's not going to win the fight. Kanto Raketti prevails in that one, losing a bit of HP, but at least getting his intended target. Now it's Citizen up next. Vigil, a couple shots down towards Kanto Raketti. There will need to be a bit of a switch from G2 here. Still half of the round for them to play with. They're by no means out of time or out of this round.
The big question is, how do you adapt? It's very difficult. There's, man advantage. There's a lot of locations you don't know about. The Buck's gonna go for the gunfight, and he finds the Vigil. Cantor for the 3K, leaving 2 alive. But how long? Oh my! The pre-fires. He's close to hitting a Lems there on the Mozzie, running back into Fountain. And he can find him here. He just needs the info. The Ash is pre-firing through all of Fountain, and this will force a Lems back down. Both defenders now are on site, and G2 have been able to push them back where necessary. You can go for a plant, and Kanto can watch this from above here in Vents, and that's exactly what Citizen is going to go for. Now checking desk. Plant, Nitrocell will sail out, but it's too late. It's already been planted. 2v1 with the Buck upstairs. No grenades, but he definitely has the advantage. You're going to need to go together for this one, and this is why you see the defenders doubling up, splitting between a push from one side, from CCTV, and the other from the desk and from the angle that's going to be found. Rafal, very well done there with the SMG-11. This is great teamwork from BDS to retake this and make sure that Shaiko's immense work in this round does not go for nothing.
It was the Shaiko versus Kanto battle, and that one with both of them obviously having a banger of a round. Kanto Ricchetti was getting droned into customs. They didn't do exact work to find out where Shaiko was coming from, and when he rotated from the bottom of main stairs, well, that was it. Unlucky for them. That whole round was really focused on that second floor, which we understand and we come to see often on a workshop defense from most teams. You have that buffer zone. You want to take the second floor. You want to take armory. You're likely going to have to focus on that, though we did see BDS commit a couple people downstairs to customs, which, funny enough, is going to be the bomb site for the next round. So BDS is going to keep that armory bomb site, the only second floor bomb site on border, in their back pocket for round number 9. Unless they decide to go back to customs if they're unsuccessful here. But G2 lost the battle on the entry. Shaiko found 2 members of the G2 team that were coming in through the main lobby. Down goes Pengu. I believe it was additionally down goes Uno, and then Kanto Ricchetti in a tough position to find himself in. You can make great plays if you're Kanto Ricchetti. And you're right. You don't want to let Shaiko's good efforts go to waste, but 90 seconds left, possibly starved for drone, possibly utility starved. What are you going to be able to do on a map like Border? You're going to have to play really brazenly at that point. Simple trades are all that matters, and BDS played very effectively through the final 20 to 30 seconds to work with one another, and even though the diffuser was down, it didn't matter. They were able to get one kill, next kill, that's it.
So G2 on the outside here. Oh, again. You gotta be very grateful that at least Pengu here as a European has some health care in case he gets his head shot off by that Jaeger playing inside a CCTV. But for now, he's gonna stay alive. And Shaiko's gonna have to fall back. But that's only for now, as we know that he's probably gonna be pouncing at some point in time in the future. Grenade will sail over jail to try and enter through it. Something of a strategy we used to see in the past. And there's the wall being opened up. Where will Pengu pressure from? Might be sitting just to pressure lobby or go into vents. New jammers are definitely going to make information collection way more difficult for G2.
So you've got your entry into jail. If Uno gets droned in, depending on where BDS is seated right now, this could be a very quick execute. Diffuser's likely in the hands of Virtue, and we'll see if he's able to actually get it planted or not. But you know that there's people upstairs, and you have to take care of them first, especially if BDS have lines of sight open down below into either of the bomb sites, which is very likely. To complicate matters further, there's a Mira as well that's going to hold off on what appeared to be the armory wall. So G2 might just be waiting for a call. Hey, do we actually have a chance to get into stock and get this plant down? Because that could be likely. That A bomb site could be ours for the taking. I'm not entirely certain.
There's the walls being opened up to enter. You can watch this here as Virtue. Kanto's taking a lot of damage in the meantime. And there's one in servers right next to Citizen. Oh my. Does he know about it? He doesn't even care. He's already entered in on site. He's pressuring now into server. And he's getting shot though from above. Pengu will find one, but a Lems on the trade-off in Citizen. You have Kanto downed in that office. Virtue will go in for the plant. The Capitao crossbow bolt blocking things off. The IQ tagged in the foot for just a moment, but it's now a 2v4 on the retake. Rafael will finish off one player as Pengu will take some damage, rotating out of the lobby. Good play here from Uno. Will find one kill. Reverse repel. Will it work out? Oh, this is so awkward. Alem's gonna hit the kill. The Mute is just trying to delay here as you're supposed to stick that diffuser, but BDS are nowhere near it. Long angles here to be played and all on Uno. Still one more flashbang that he can use. You want the rotation to happen, and Alems will try to stick this. All you need to do is just defend this, but Renshiro runs out at the right moment, and in jail, Uno will just be slapped down. BDS retaking here to make it a 4-4. Parker, we have a hell of a game on our hands.
Boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Pengu absolutely botching that repel play to try and take out whoever was coming through the doorway. That was rough to watch. We all know, and especially pros know, how tough upside down repels can be and how disorienting they can be. You know, I've heard from many pros about how upside down repel is a significant challenge, and they can have issues with, you know, how not as seamless a transition it is when you go from regular repel to upside down repel to how you're leaning on repel. In the heat of the moment, there's some things to manage there that can be a bit tough, if I can put it nicely. But regardless, that wasn't the crutch. You know, that wasn't the crux of the issue for G2. They get the plant down and then they get out of there quickly. And BDS's retakes, the last two bomb sites have been great. They've been so well executed. They've been so well coordinated, working together. You know, you had the defuse going down and the disable going down in the corner, while there was three people still alive. One of them going for the disable, two of them capable of watching both Pengu and Uno. And Uno, I don't know if he got the right call or not. He missed his shots, but let's go back even further. Let's not just look at what happened around the actual execute. Let's look at the take that came in from G2. They got the jail wall open really early. They had three of their attackers lined up at the jail entrance, ready to spring on in. And they took quite a while to drone things out. They had to, given the setup that BDS had. They had to figure out if somebody was playing aggressively in Armory from above. They had to assess if somebody was playing at main stairs or even down below in either customs or workshop, to be wary if they go for a plant, if somebody's going to come after them. G2 did a lot of necessary steps. They might have taken a little bit longer, but I think some of that is because of the way that BDS was playing upstairs and in a bit of an unpredictable pattern for G2. And then when the gunfights just started to come out, both teams kept pretty even pace with each other. But at that point, when you start to trade out your kills, you as an attacker don't have the benefit of the clock. And that's what it ultimately boiled down to. Almost saving that round in the latter, 20, 30 seconds was Uno's individual effort. But really, there was way too much that was committed in terms of mistakes earlier on.
Yeah, that was just we just saw the symptoms, but there were many things that led up to it. Here, they're going to try to change things around as G2. This is an Armory defense with so many shields, Parker. Oh my, it's so frustrating to deal with, but Pengu takes Shaiko's head off. Well, that's a great start. Still, the Wamai is alive. This Renshiro, he's going to be chucking those magnets all the way around. Metal pancakes, as we're calling them as well. And because of the reinforcements that are set inside of the break room, you're not going to be able to have that long line of sight to deal with players in the hallway. Uno has a great repel position here on the balcony on the eastern side, and it can look down all the way into half wall inside of Armory. There's a peek and a bit too slow. It's a difficult position here to fight for Uno, but even more so for the defense. Reverse repel is going to make it nigh impossible to win. This is only a tiny few pixels that you can see the attacker with, and you don't have any real ACOGs to deal with all of that. Alems is the one that has it. He's now on the floor. He hits it. There it is. The headshot with the ACOG, it works well. Uno is now taken away, and just more damage done to BDS in general. The sandwich defense, it's not there. Kanto Rocketti prepared, and Renshiro shot down. It's a 4v3, advantage G2.
Plant being attempted with covering fire from G2. They've managed to lock out most of the site. Now here they come. The C4 will miss, but Alems does not. Virtue would have been attempting the plant. He looks like he's fallen off for now, though it still shows that he's trying to get it down. I don't know what his reluctance is here. Alem's, though, spotted behind the Goyo shield, and he's got way too many angles to cover. Say goodbye, say so long. Regaining the lead is G2. And this is, well, it's about as methodical a play on Armory as you'd expect. The good news for BDS is that Workshop is open and they can get the hell off of that site.
Yeah, and you went through the rotation. You lost one of them. That's fine. And it's really been back and forth between these two. But I want to remind everybody that G2 entered the half with an advantage, 2-round advantage, that BDS fought very hard to kind of close that gap and make it what it is now with this 1-round advantage for G2 at a 5-4. What are they bringing for this one? Sledge, Buck, Ash, IQ, and Thermite. Will there be a 6th pick for this Armory Lockers attack? Whoa, they're going to go for Armory Lockers again. All right. Well, I guess this usually means that BDS realized their problem was that Shaiko was peeking too hard, trying to fight inside of Archives all the way down to that eastern balcony. If he hadn't done that, he wouldn't have opened himself to Pengu just shooting him down from fence. Now, you fix that problem, suddenly your defense is way more possible, and he's going to be put on the Jaeger again and probably playing in other positions. I'm very excited to see where they actually place him this time, or will he be given free reign to roam around the map and do as he pleases? No Goyo, of course, because of that pick. I'll see Renshiro going for the Bandit, Mira for Ironics, and double reinforcement inside of Fountain, which means that you're very safe in this position. You can only be stunned or grenaded from above because of these large open walls that you have with the arabesque at the top of it, or the, how do you call them, at the top of these walls set of border. But otherwise, you don't really have to deal with too much, and you're going for the first kill. Shaiko on the spawn, and he's not spotted yet. He's doing his due diligence. He's gonna find 1 kill, 1-2 for Shaiko. Huge frags on a Citizen and Virtue, and then falling back in the main hallway, but instantly shot down. Was it worth it? The grenade's gonna confirm the kill, and maybe getting a 2nd kill. No! Lems will hit with the AUG, even on the hollow on top of it. BDS getting away with murder here. Virtue, Citizen, and Kanto all down.
Rough entry for G2 as they just run right into BDS, but they have time to recover, and there's somebody on Sandwich that I don't know if G2 is or understands. There it is, it's Rafal. He tries to get out of there, he tries to dare the G2, can't do it. Pengu ends up getting the kill back to a lesser advantage, but still an advantage nonetheless for BDS, as there goes one of the firebolts. This angle being held from Ironics will work out very well, as G2 almost certainly won't look in that direction. Unless they go into drone here, and this is the clever part. You've still got drones available. Uno looks like he has both of his. Pengu has one of his. 3 drones is good enough to rotate, droning yourselves in. Nobody looks like they're watching that diffuser, and even though there's some trepidation here from Uno, they'll still be able to get it as Pengu falls off of Armory, and instead, they're going to both work into Break Room. This is an Armory defense. I'm a little surprised, if I'm being honest with you, because I would have expected a Workshop defense, but no, it's going to go right back to Armory, and obviously this being quarterbacked by the strong play of Shaiko, but that's not something that's necessarily fully reliable. Behind half wall is Ironics. He's playing inside of a position also known as Bunker, waiting for the drone to pop on up. He sees it, but his position has been given away. Is there a fire arrow left? That's the real question. He's going to have to return some fire and hope that the remaining 2 members of BDS can get to his rescue at some point.
Well, there's fire from below, and staying alive for just a second more here, but you're always in danger of being pushed from this position here. And unfortunately, Pengu won't be able to find the Mira, and this will give the perfect time for Ironics to escape and sit close to his teammates. There's 2 of them now sitting on A, with 1 providing overwatch from inside of Fountain even, where you can see the Bandit rotating whenever it'll be necessary. A lot of ammo in the magazine here for the G8, but not going to be enough against the Vector. It's going to met 1 and 2. Ironics will win it out for BDS here in round 10. Finally seeing him on the scoreboard for this matchup, and it's great play on the Mira. Man, this is really, really close. 5-5 here, as G2, if they want to stay at top of the mark and actually contest for that 2nd position in EU, they're going to need a victory. BDS winning 1 round now would spell disaster to G2 maybe making it in the top 2. Then again, was that really the goal? Who knows? That's something up to G2 to figure out.
Who knows, Meister? That's the real one right there. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously G2 is a team that doesn't like losing, but I think a lot of teams are looking at this season as, a learning opportunity. We are still awaiting information in regards to relegations. We're still awaiting information as to what's going to happen, after May. There were the season finals that were supposed to kick in, and now what was announced, the 6 Invitationals, the regionalization of all of Pro League. We don't even know if it's going to be called Pro League. And frankly, we still lack a lot of information as to what's going to happen in 2 months. And I have no doubt that this pandemic is obviously causing greater issues too, with everything being canceled. So there's going to be a holdup here. So we can just speculate as best as we can. But, these teams are obviously very keenly focused on winning. Don't think that they're happy to lose. But at the same time, the pressure is not the same. Most of these teams are playing for an opportunity to go to LAN to win the season, and that's not available for any of these teams. Sao Paulo LAN was canceled. So if you're G2, and even if you're BDS here, BDS has a lot less to work on, I would say, because their roster's not newer. But if you're G2, you've got time to be able to fix these small issues and get Virtue as well as Citizen into a better position with the rest of your team than you've already seen from them so far.
There's Ranchero scouting in from below with that pulse. And BDS, switched around their lineup that, we've been seeing them play. But Shaiko still remains adamant running this Jaeger. Fire all the way down into Fountain. As you can see the silhouette, but there's so many walls in between. There's not going to be any damage put down onto the Jaeger. I assume it's just seeing the outline of that headgear. And everything left soft. This is a clear contrast to what G2 have been doing by running the meet out with a ton of reinforcements, anchoring onto Fountain, a strategy that we used to see back in the day, as you mentioned before. The Buck trying to pressure in from below is definitely a very sound strategy, but you still need to find someone off of it. And he's just picking up from jail here. Or fire being thrown away as Citizen, as you're kind of relying on your Heartbeacher here to do the work as G2. That's Virtue on the Thermite. And Kanto's going to start pressuring in from the passport check. You need him to destroy any utility set at the bottom of the wall, and potentially Rafale with a mute jammer there, but you're seeing Virtue walking on up for the Thermite charge as everything seems to have been cleared. There's the kill, but the rush! Shaiko! Oh, wow! Telegraphed perfectly through the smoke. He finds Citizen through the wall, too. That's a great shot there on the Ash, and that just halts the assault from G2.
How to stop something dead in their tracks, and there will be another as well. Down goes Virtue to the C4 that gets hucked out by Ironic, setting a scramble to try and reclaim this round as you execute onto Workshop at some point. G2 trail, and they are in rough shape. Shaiko obviously still on the board. He can continue to roam and play effectively unless G2 can pinch him, isolate him, and then remove him. But there's nothing showing that so far. There's Shaiko, another 2 kills. He is absolutely halting G2 at the moment. Down goes Pengu, and this is a desperate measure now as Kanto Raketti knows that there's somebody playing over in that position. I'll have the information. There goes a C4. He manages to shoot it out of the air. Lights up some member of the Pulse. Not sure where, maybe the legs, who knows, but he's gonna get pressured from in front and to the side. No G2 victory possible. 1.4 BDS. They're going to go for the throat of G2 in the very final round, in our last round, to try and put this one away.
So right now, looking at the score lines, that's the important thing for the end of the season. G2 started at 18 points. At the end of the day, maximum they can get is 1 point today and 3 points next play day. It's pretty much over for G2 trying to make it out and beyond. The max they can get is up to 22, in which case they will tie with Na'Vi. And if you look at the tiebreak, Na'Vi have that tiebreak at 11 rounds to 9 for G2. So I can already confirm it and call it. G2 will not be among the top 2 teams in the region for Europe, in which case they won't be making the bank that the top 2 will be making. Of course, number 1 getting a bit more cash than number 2. as the seeding does matter for the prize pool dispersion here between all the teams in these different regions. Man, BDS, they strike hard when necessary, even though this won't really help BDS up in the standings, as they guarantee 1 point to go up to 14 and still stick to 7th place. But man, is this gonna hurt for G2.
10 seconds left before
The Customs defense now. This defense for BDS has been so strong. 4 rounds, same as G2. The only question, the better question, is going to be whether or not G2 are going to be capable of drawing even. Everything fell apart on Customs' last take from G2. They attacked from over towards jail. They stacked up 3 people on jail. They couldn't get in effectively. They got the diffuser down, weren't able to do that much around it. It was a rough one. Uno almost clutched it. Pengu had some issues. They're going to have to fix these mistakes. BDS are very much liking this Mira Pulse combo that they have. It's giving them lots of information. I'm sure Shaiko really likes it as well because of all he's capable of doing with those 2 operators on the board to guide him. Almost losing the Legion as not a single shot from Kanta Raketti will land on a Lems as the take is over towards the east side of the map, and G2 is already inside of offices with 45 seconds off of the clock.
The IQ of Pengu now sitting on Sandwich. Just checking, there's some rounds being fired towards him. I'm not sure if that's off of his own teammate, maybe from below, as there's some holes that are usually opened up by the defense to very clearly put you in this position, and they find a kill off of you here. Nitrocell will sail away and nothing being hit, and there you go. You see those holes that have been opened up to allow for Nitros and for shots to come in from BDS. Renshiro is clinching and getting a lot of info back to BDS, but they're not able to land. And second Nitrocell will sail and will not connect, as Pengu has done his job. He's removed a ton of utility off of BDS by just standing still and just staying on the rappel. A good job there, but there's potential that BDS still has 1 more Nitrocell left, even though we've seen Mira rocking those. Oh, there it is. That's the 3rd Nitro. No more left. All well done here, expending all the utility with just under half of the round left.
No real direct action. There's been a couple missed opportunities from both teams, and you saw the Legion get shot out earlier on, though Lems didn't take any damage that time. He's taken damage since. Still G2 stacked up over on the east side of the map, waiting very patiently for the call. I don't know if they're droning or not. I believe Citizen just saw somebody, or at least he thinks he did. And there's the mirror down below of Ironics engaging in a fight with Kanta Raketti. Citizen will creep up, taking step by step as he looks to get in closer to the site, and maybe with the pressure that's being applied from above, can get a pick or 2, as somebody from BDS won't be suspecting that. Unfortunately, Pengu's not watching the doorway, and that is a big miss as BDS manages to take 2 away from G2. 3 now. Virtue answers back. Another from Virtue. He's making his presence known over by Customs and Passport. There's the Capitao. Uno takes him out. It's Rafal and Renshiro now in a 2v2. 20 seconds left. Here's the pressure that's on Virtue on just a tiny bit of HP and tons of goo mines being hit. But no, Uno takes out Rafal. It's now a 1v2. Renshiro will need to stop this diffuser. 10 seconds left. Uno will be the most important person here for G2. He drops, and there he goes! Renshiro is down. These teams will draw. Both teams a single point. No defeat for G2, and a round that looks perfectly for BDS. Well, it ultimately falls apart. Both teams take a single point. For G2, that's detrimental to the top of the standings, but from a confidence perspective, it's obviously a good one.
What a